Welcome to a quick overview of the Purdue Graduate Teacher Certificate Program. I'm Karen Neibauer, here with Kiki Zissimopoulos from the Center for Instructional Excellence. For the next few minutes, we will touch on two main points about the Purdue Graduate Teacher Certificate Program. First, the 3 tiers of certificates that represent progressive teaching experience and competency, and second, how you can easily enroll in the program to begin working on a certificate and eventually submit your application for approval. Please check out other videos in this series that provide further details on each certificate and specific criteria.
The Graduate Teacher Certificate Program was established in the 1990s through the efforts of a special committee of the Purdue Teaching Academy. The goal then, as now, was to provide a framework for the development, coordination, evaluation, and recognition of graduate students to enhance their teaching capabilities at Purdue. The program has been revised several times, most recently in November 2013. The current program includes 3 tiers that respond to the various levels of graduate teaching and instructional development opportunities at Purdue's West Lafayette campus. Each tier represents a level of professional development, experience, and expertise appropriate for most graduate teaching assistants at Purdue. You can complete one or all of the certificates. You do not have to start at Tier 1. However, criteria met for Tier 1 apply to Tier 2, and criteria met for Tier 2 apply to Tier 3. Begin the program at the most appropriate level for your situation. Let's begin with Tier 1, the Graduate Instructional Development Certificate, or GIDC.
By completing criteria for the GIDC, graduate assistants can learn foundational pedagogic knowledge even before they have direct responsibility for a classroom. Graduate students do not have to wait until they are given teaching duties before they earn recognition for the professional development efforts. As novices to teaching, graduate assistants working toward the Tier 1 GIDC learn terms, policies, procedures, and context through which they can observe and assist more senior instructors. The criteria include at least 2 individual undergraduate classroom teaching experiences. For example, serving as a guest lecturer during 2 class periods. The GIDC also requires you complete 2 teaching observations, one of a faculty member teaching a class, and one of an experienced teaching assistant teaching a class. A third observation is of you teaching, which can be done during one of the individual teaching experiences. The other criteria for the GIDC are to participate in a micro-teaching and playback session and in teaching assistant orientation. Both of these activities are sponsored by CIE every academic year, although some departments also host them. Micro-teaching consists of a 7-minute teaching demonstration, after which participants receive group and consultative feedback. CIE offers micro-teaching at least once a semester. Teaching orientation is a full day of sessions on effective classroom instruction offered week 0 every fall semester. Lastly, graduate students are required to complete at least 6 hours of instructional development beyond TA orientation. These can be met through sessions such as the College Teaching Workshop Series 1, held every semester by CIE, or with other workshops or speakers focused on enhancing teaching knowledge and skills. As part of best practices, GIDC applicants are required to write reflective essays on teaching observations and micro-teaching. Depending on the department, the Tier 1 GIDC may be the only certificate available to some graduate assistants, but its criteria serve as the foundation upon which all certificates are built.
Tier 2 is the Graduate Teacher Certificate, or GTC. It is the most frequently completed certificate by Purdue graduate students. In many departments, graduate assistants eventually have weekly teaching responsibilities, and the GTC is appropriate to guide their professional development. In addition to building foundational pedagogic knowledge, like that of the GIDC, Graduate assistants advance their skills and understanding by receiving feedback and reflecting on their teaching experiences. As they make strategic decisions about course and content management, these graduate assistants become more competent instructors. Criteria of the GTC include 2 semester-long undergraduate teaching experiences as instructor of record with weekly teaching responsibilities. Grading responsibilities alone are not enough. You must make strategic decisions in course and content management. You must be listed as an instructor in Banner and on the end of semester course eval. Some criteria of the GTC are the same as for the GIDC, including conducting 2 teaching observations and being observed teaching. If you meet these criteria for the GIDC, that completion carries over to the GTC. The same is true for microteaching and teaching assistant orientation. Additional criteria for the GTC include a total of 9 hours of instructional development. If you complete the GIDC, you only need 3 additional hours of instructional development for the GTC. Lastly, completing the GTC requires that you get feedback from students on your teaching. This includes early feedback in at least 1 class. Early feedback is done in the first half of the semester to get your students' input on your teaching and the course. It is formative, allowing you to make adjustments as the course progresses. CIE provides several examples of early feedback on its website. These can be administered with paper surveys or electronically using software such as Qualtrics. Both of your classes need to use Course Eval to provide end-of-semester feedback to you as instructor of record. The criteria also include a written, reflective essay on the feedback, as well as on the observations and micro-teaching.
The Tier 3 Advanced Graduate Teaching Certificate, or AGTC, is the highest level of instructional proficiency recognized by the Graduate Teacher Certificate Program. It requires thinking and experience at competent and proficient levels of teaching. Using the established professional development strategy of a teaching portfolio, this certificate helps developing instructors document their growth as a continuous improvement process. It builds upon criteria of the GIDC and GTC, but adds criteria for mentoring, scholarship of teaching and learning, and service. AGTC criteria includes serving as an instructor of record for 4 semesters, or 3 courses if one of them is as a primary instructor. Student feedback on these courses is required. Observations of classes also includes a course that has gone through the Purdue Impact redesign process. Instructional development criteria require completing an approved campus course on college teaching. The roles of mentor and mentee are required for the AGTC. This means you meet with a faculty member regularly for at least a semester, and you, in turn, serve as a mentor for at least 1 teaching assistant for a semester. As part of your developing instructional leadership, the AGTC requires that you conduct training for other teaching assistants. This might be in the form of a workshop, for example. Being part of a scholarly community means doing research. The AGTC requires you to complete and present research on an area of teaching and learning specific to your interests. Service on behalf of your discipline is also required by the AGTC. This may include volunteering for projects in your department or assisting CIE in activities such as teaching orientation. In addition to completing and documenting the criteria outlined, the AGTC requires the construction and presentation of a teaching portfolio. Elements such as a teaching philosophy, CV, and documentation of professional development can be presented in print or electronic forms. Ideally, the portfolio will serve you in the pursuit of teaching positions after graduation.
The first step in participating in the Purdue Graduate Teacher Certificate Program is to enroll. This can be done whenever you want more information. You do not have to wait until you are ready to begin completing criteria. Go to purdue.edu/CIE and click on the Graduate Teacher Certificate tab. Here you will see links to each tier with additional details on the criteria. There is also a button to pull up answers to frequently asked questions and one to download a PDF of the certificate brochure. Click on the Enroll button to open a form in which you enter a few details about yourself. We use this information to enroll you in the Blackboard site for the certificate in which you are interested. In Blackboard, you will find the application form with complete details on the criteria.
On behalf of the Teaching Academy and the Center for Instructional Excellence, thank you for listening to this video on the Graduate Teacher Certificate Program.
Please check out other videos in this series that provide further details on each certificate and specific criteria.